Hi, I'm Sonia. Welcome to my channel, Sonia on Being 60. In last week's video, I started to talk about how I changed my way of eating 3 years ago. And that the reason that I wanted to change my way of eating was because I was constantly overeating the chips, the candies, the cookies. Frankly, I felt I was, kind of addicted to the carbs. I wanted to stop that. So I, looked into the ketogenic diet. I did a lot of research. I watched a lot of videos, and I'll link to some of the, the videos and articles that really helped me say, yeah, you know what? I think this is a diet, if you will, a way of eating for me. Now, it wasn't all that easy of a switch. I mean, I'm going from high carb to essentially super low carb and the high fat now from where I was always low fat. And I mean, I was eating low fat for, I don't know, all my adult life because that's what we were told to eat. So at the beginning, that was difficult for me. I struggled with giving myself that permission to eat a lot of fat. But slowly but surely I did. I didn't go full-blown keto like from the get-go. I kind of tapered my way into lowering my carbs, increasing my fat. And I found that that enabled me to say, okay, I can have the fat. And that it's okay. I mean, of course, there are things that I missed. I mean, I grew up my whole life with, like rye bread. My mom baked rye bread all the time. It was a staple. It was what I had for lunch every single day when I went to school. A rye bread sandwich with cheddar cheese and butter. And never in my life have I ever gotten tired of eating bread. Not really your typical like sliced bread, but always like, a baguette, the sourdough bread, rye breads. For me, there's nothing better than fresh bread, butter, and cheese. So yes, I did struggle at the beginning saying, oh, I can't have bread. And I think though what got me through was not saying you can never ever have bread. It's like, no, for now you're choosing not to have it. You're choosing to go low carb. You're choosing to eat higher fat. You're choosing this way of eating because you want to see how your body reacts to that. And do you know what? Within probably a couple of months, I would say, of eating this way and getting lower and lower carb, I suddenly had no more cravings. I didn't crave bread. I didn't crave cookies. I didn't crave chips or candies. I really did not crave. And back then, if I wanted a bit of a snack, I'd grab a handful of nuts. And surprising how just a small handful just satisfies and, you just don't have a craving anymore. Very, very interesting how that happened. And like I've mentioned, I'm 3 years into this way of eating and I don't feel deprived at all. I feel there's so many delicious foods that I can eat that it's wonderful. It's there's really no shortage. And I also feel that I'm not depriving my body of any nutrients, that I get all the vitamins, minerals that I need from the meats that I eat, the vegetables that I eat as well. One thing though that I have changed fairly recently, and that is that I've decided to eat higher protein. I'm now keeping my carbs still low, a little bit higher than what they were. I've gone higher protein and it's more moderate fat. I find that I need to have some more protein in my diet, especially now that I'm getting back to the gym and getting back into the strength training. I really do want to build that lean body mass. So I find that I need the protein to do that. And so far that's working great. I'll give you an example of a kind of a typical day these days for me would be, today. I'll tell you what I have eaten today and what I will eat later on. So this morning I had a protein shake. I have the protein shake. I'll put a picture to, all the things that I put in the shake. So, I'll have a scoop of protein powder. I'll have some collagen. I'll have some almond milk, like unsweetened vanilla almond milk, or macadamia nut milk. Also, sometimes I'll put in a scoop of peanut butter, or sometimes maybe I'll put in a quarter cup of blueberries. And delicious shake, and that keeps me going for quite a number of hours. So I had that earlier this morning, and then kind of mid-afternoon I had an ounce of cheese, I had a hard-boiled egg, and I had 3 ounces of roast beef. And now I'll eat supper probably around 6 or 7, and that's going to be a burger with some cheese and wrapped in lettuce. And I hit my macros spot on. I'm really full. There's no hunger at all when I eat like that. So that's really terrific. It's important though to point out that every body and everybody is different. So what works for me and what makes me feel really great may not be the same for you or for anyone else. I really find it's important that everybody find what works for them, that makes them healthy. It's not always about losing weight. To me, it's about being healthy, and it's about having your health especially as you get older. I think the last time I actually had a cold or had anything was 3 years ago. I haven't had a sniffle since then. And I mean, even before that, I've always been really healthy, but I would always get like a cold once a year. 3 years now, I haven't had a single thing. Is that because of the diet? Who knows? All I can say is I feel fantastic. I feel terrific. And I don't think not eating carbs is a disservice to myself. I think I'm doing myself a lot of good by not eating all that sugar that I was eating in the past. But there's people will say, well, is it sustainable? Is it really sustainable to really not eat carbs anymore? Is that a sustainable way of eating? I say, well, I've been doing it for 3 years. I don't see why it's not sustainable. You go back in history, you look at the Inuit, for example. Their diet was pretty much carnivore, like nose to tail carnivore. They were healthy. They weren't sick. That was their way of eating. Is eating the standard American diet sustainable? I would venture to say no. If you look at when it came into being in the mid-1970s, the diabetes rate, obesity rates are fairly low. Just look at the charts now that show it's like off the wall. The obesity rates, the type 2 diabetes, off the wall. And that's attributable to what we've been told to eat. We've been told to eat all that sugar. Maybe we haven't been told to eat the processed foods, but the sugar, because that's what carbs are. They're sugar. That's what we've been told to eat. So if people say is the keto sustainable, I'm going to say, yeah, it is. For me, it is. It's sustainable for me and for my health and how I feel. I don't want to get sick. I don't want to have diabetes. I think I'm protecting myself from a bunch of different illnesses by eliminating pretty much all of the carbs. But as I mentioned earlier, everybody's different and everyone is entitled to their way of eating. I'm not going to preach and tell anybody that they ought to do what I do. Not at all. And I just expect the same respect in return. Now, the other thing that I have mentioned, over the course of different videos is that I am an endurance athlete in the sense that I run marathons. I'll run a couple a year. I do half Ironman triathlons. I do the full Ironman triathlon. And, in next week's video, I'll talk about how this has affected me either negatively, positively, or hasn't affected me at all in terms of the endurance stuff that I do. So until next week, have a wonderful week. And you know what? If you like this video, please hit the like button. And if you'd like to see all the videos that I post, hit that subscribe button so you're notified. Thank you. Bye now.